Doing today, I want you to think about something. I want you to think about the words empathy. I want you to think about the word sympathy. I want you to think about what it means to validate someone's feelings. I want you to think about what it means to value someone. Now, I'm not here to quiz you. I more just want to share something with you. As a clinician, right, I went to undergraduate school and then I went to graduate school. And it was during those graduate studies, whenever I sat down in a class, that actually went over what these words mean and how to play with them and how to use them in life. So then comes the entire base of this conversation. As a clinician, I'll work with couples and I'll sit down with couples, and then we'll find ourselves in certain situations where one of the individuals may be struggling to really understand where the other person is coming from. And that term, understand, it connects to empathy. Empathy is whenever we're able to see with the eyes of another, hear with the ears of another, really put ourselves in the other person's shoes, if you will. So if I shared with you, right, that throughout my life, I got to graduate school, and that graduate school was when I was given these lectures, right, and presentations and research studies and all that mess that had to do with understanding empathy. I'm sharing something really important, at least from my end. What about the rest of the population? What about the average Joe, the average individual? I think often as a whole, we as people, we receive understandings and definitions to empathy. Maybe you grew up in a household where you saw your dad do certain things and that highlighted empathy. Or maybe you saw mom engage in certain behaviors and it connected to validating a certain feeling. But often we're not given these lessons. And because we're not given these lessons and we're not given the lessons in a very appropriate manner, it could lead to an individual being in a relationship, right? You're 40 years old, you're in a relationship, and you're arguing back and forth with your partner and you're blaming them. But truly what's taking place is that you engage in certain actions. You're struggling to reflect back on yourself, which is a skill, right? The skill of awareness, mindfulness, being self-aware, reflecting on oneself. And then overall, it is due to our upbringing, is due to maybe certain things that we were taught and certain things that we were not taught. So whenever I work with couples, here's something that I really nudge them, or a direction I nudge them to go in. And I want you to consider this in your life, in your relationship. I want you to think about these key words: mindfulness, self-awareness, write them down if you need to, validating feelings, understanding someone else's point of view, empathy, sympathy. And then I want you to consider your effectiveness in using these terms and then in playing with them in your relationship. Think about situations in your relationship that connected to one of you being pushed to that degree of empathy. Did you act on it accordingly, or did you struggle to? And I find that whenever couples are able to have a strong degree of awareness, when their mindset is connected to understanding these terms, they reach a higher level of success in their relationship, and they're also able to navigate challenges much better. An example of a challenge that a couple can navigate would be if you've got, let's say, Sally and Steve gets home late from work, right? And he gets home late from work, and it was his turn to make dinner. So he arrives into the house, and he gets in there, and he's got some food that he picked up from the local, place, whatever. And her first reaction is anger and frustration, right? She's angry because he didn't get home and he didn't make dinner. And then, he hasn't even gotten a chance to share any of the information. Well, what's happening there is we're not understanding each other. Maybe they're struggling with communication. And then where's empathy in that? Where's putting yourself in the other person's shoes, such as, my partner stayed late at work because, their boss needed them to finish a deadline. Or my partner, they were going to make dinner, but instead they went to the second option. Second option was picking something up to eat. And they picked something up to eat, and they made sure to pick something up that I really like. Like, I like Mexican food, so they make sure to pick up Mexican food versus Thai food, right? Now, that's where we want to make sure that these skills, because without these skills, what could happen in that situation, a scenario, would be that they engage in anger, and maybe they just go back and forth, blaming and attacking each other. So I want you to think about using those words, think about building your awareness with each of those terms. And as always, join, subscribe. If you have any comments, share them. Any videos that you think will be helpful in the future, let me know. Take care. Have a wonderful day.